aside. Or maybe I can check if I'm able to record. Let me see. Yeah, thank you, Phyllis. So we're good. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining. I'll start off with the benefits of digital marketing. I know as we've gone through some discussions, we were able to just highlight some of that and identify some of that. And I think I'd just love to start off with opening your eyes to more in terms of what you can get as a benefit from digital marketing, not just in terms of being able to post online, but there's a lot more than that. So I think to kick off the discussion, I'll start off with a video, then we'll go through an extra list of benefits. And the reason we're starting off with benefits today, in as much as we've talked a little bit about it before, is because we'll be going deeper into now each of the categories we've mentioned. I know one of the questions that came up on the e-learning is what type of businesses or industries fall under the 8 categories and why. Very hard to narrow down on that. Again, it depends with what you're doing as a business, who your target audience is. I think that's the biggest factor, who your target audience is. So the benefits will help us just smoothly transition into that conversation. So I think let's watch the video first, and then now we can dive deeper into those benefits. Okay, so I'll just pause the video there. And I'd love to know, I'll just do a round of comments in terms of what kind of customer are you? How do you find out about most of the things you buy from different companies, whether it's a product, whether it's a service? Do you find out about them online? You know, are you more of an offline kind of person? Maybe tell us a bit about that and, you know, your why that makes you comfortable, whether it's online or offline. I think I'll just do a round of comments. I'll start with Lillian. Then we can hear from Dennis, Wilsack, Gloria, Felicitas. So Lillian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd say I do both offline and online, but mostly I'd say online because most of the time I find myself spending quite some time perusing through various social media platforms, and I prefer that because you can get to see what people say about that product when you're on social media. If it's, for example, something like, let me use an example of a product like CeraVe. You can see the comments down there on their page, and you can know that whether it's going to favor you or it's not going to favor you through the reactions that people are going to comment on that particular post. Yes, that's my opinion.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Lillian. So you're more online, that both could work. Dennis, let's hear from you, then Wilsack, Gloria, then Felicitas.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I'm more of an online person. Just like Lillian mentioned, reviews matter to me. How a product is reviewed will always affect my consumption rate on that product. That is one. And secondly, I'm one person who enjoys comparing prices and comparing different uses of that product. So I would want to see how other people are using the product so that I'm aware of if it fits my needs and if it's going to sort out what I need it for. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Dennis. I like that you've even been very practical with it. I think that's the direction many consumers are going, with practicality. I don't just want to know your product or your service can do this for me. I'd love to, one, hear from other people, but I'd also love to know different ways I can use it. Yesterday, I'm quite a faithful TikTok watcher. And yesterday night, I saw a video of a chef who made donuts, but they were not, ordinary donuts that we are used to. They were chicken donuts. And I remember I was so shocked. In fact, when I was scrolling through, I stopped very quickly because I was like, what? Chicken donuts? What would that be? So why am I telling you that? Consumers are getting more intrigued with the practicality of things. She could have done her recipe in whatever way she would have wanted, but she decided to make it a little bit unique because then she's trying to get people, yes, to view the video, but also what is going to make her stand out and be memorable in a way that people will actually remember her recipes. And, that was one way that she stood out. So quite important for you to remember that. So for those who just joined, the question is, for you personally as a consumer, what kind of consumer are you? How do you find out about most companies in terms of either the product or service they have to offer? Are you more of a person who discovers them online, or do you discover majority of them offline, and possibly why? So Wilsack will come to you, but let me start with Gloria. We can do Gloria, then come back to Wilsack, then Felicitas.
Hello, morning. For me, I look at whether the product, whether I'm able to relate with the company. So mostly I look at online, whether I feel that whatever I also look at reviews like Dennis said. So I look at what people are saying, what are their reactions. So I base my purchase or my decision to buy something based on that.
Great. So I'm hearing quite a lot of reviews, which I think happens a lot, especially on an online space. You can get to hear quite a bit from people. So I'm happy to hear that. Wilsack, maybe we can hear from you. Then Felicitas, finally. Okay, Felicitas, let's hear from you first. Wilsack, you'll test your mic, then you'll speak last. Felicitas, are you able to unmute? Great.
Hello. Oh,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well. Sorry, I was trying to mute you before, then I initially disabled your mic by mistake. Apologies for that.
Okay, thank you. Everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
I can say I'm a person who does online, like go online, mostly Instagram and Twitter, find out reviews. That is 50% of the time. But I'm also a person does who appreciates referrals, especially from people I know. like people I trust. Mostly when you come to things like maybe skincare and hair products, that one, yes, I will do online, get reviews and stuff, but my final buying decision usually stems from a referral, possibly from a close friend of mine who identifies with a struggle I go through. Then I think my final decision comes from there.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. You've gotten a totally new, nice angle of referrals. There are actually people who just purchase based on referrals. So thank you for bringing that out. Finally, Ilsa. Okay, we'll start with that then. So thank you for sharing all of that. I definitely agree with all of you. I think personally, I am more an online girl. Especially one, because I'm in the space, but two, I think during COVID, I got quite a lot of comfort in doing online practices. And I think that's where, I actually, can I say, became extremely comfortable with purchasing stuff online. Of course, there are different things that I look for in terms of, what can I call it? Trust factors. Let's call them that. Reviews could be one of them. Maybe my friend referring me to the site could be another thing. So depending on what kind of consumer you are, you quickly find that different people have different can I say elements of trust that they actually look for. So depending on who you are and what you're looking for, then you'll find that you can fall on either side. I'll give another example. I have a friend whose mom will put all her shopping list on, say, the Carrefour app online, but she won't finalize her purchase online. So she'll use the app as a shopping list and eventually will go to the supermarket to do her purchase from there. I know some of us are probably listening to this story and wondering, really? She was one step away from clicking purchase and buying the product online, but she doesn't feel comfortable. She doesn't feel like she can trust Carrefour online. She feels like someone can hack or someone can bypass and she'll end up losing her money. So for her, she prefers to physically go to the shop and complete the purchase from there. There are people like that. And as you market, I want you to have that in mind. Most of the time, brands don't think about that. We always think about what can I tell my customers about my product, but you never imagine how will your clients feel about your product when they see it. Are they actually going to want to immediately convert, or are they actually going to start worrying about trust elements? So I think it's very, very important for you to think about that. I can see Will Success, he's back. I don't know if you're able to unmute and let us know what type of consumer you are. Sorry about your power.
Okay, sorry. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm a great consumer of internet, so I discover most of my products online, and from that, it means that I use the internet to research much of the products, how they can help me in one way or another. So yeah, let me say I consume much of my products that I've discovered online. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. You brought in a good aspect of research. I think online provides a great opportunity for that for consumers. So you don't just have to take it from the shop alone. You're able to review. I think for me, I used to just purchase, let's say, phones and TVs based on price. But when I got married to my husband, I discovered that he does quite a lot of research online. So I'm really glad that you brought that out. And research could be in different forms for people. There are people who will read, there are people who will watch. So my husband, for example, watches a lot of YouTube reviews before he purchases any product. So the beauty about online is you get that benefit. Right now, just from the examples we've given, I hear benefits like you're able to research, benefits like trust elements in terms of reviews. I hear a lot of practicality in terms of I'm able to know how to use the product in different ways, and so on and so forth. So this is in addition to the ones we talked about last time. Things like you're able to reach more people geographically, you're able to spend less. I mean, a billboard could cost as high as 300 to 500,000 here in Kenya. But I mean, if you spend 300 to 500,000 online, you can imagine the kind of results you're going to get. Speaking of results, I think we talked about how measurable it is. So you're able to quantify. And like a billboard, you're not necessarily sure how many people saw it, how many people were interested. I think from an online space, especially with the introduction of AI and everything, there's ability to personalize your communication more. So everyone can feel like you're speaking personally to them. I'm sure we've gone through our social media feeds at one point and felt like, wow, it's almost like this brand knew exactly what I needed. Personalization is made easier, building a connection is made easier, which of course improves how well you can get to conversion, a conversation we'll talk about, because many people assume just because you're posting, just because you're present online, you'll convert very quickly, but sometimes that's not the case. So we'll talk about more of that, and also talk about how you can do specific targeting in terms of targeting only people who would actually be interested in your product. So to start us off, I think you guys remember that we had talked about different categories, can I say, in the digital marketing space. And the reason for talking about that briefly was I wanted you to just see what falls under the umbrella. From today, we'll be going deeper into them. One thing I want you to have in mind is depending on the platform you're going to be marketing on, you can market in two different ways. I think during our last session, we had a discussion around take it or leave it kind of approach, or benefit solution kind of approach. In marketing, you'll hear a lot of people calling the benefit solution kind of approach inbound marketing. Then the take it or leave it is sort of called outbound marketing. So I like to use simple examples to explain difficult concepts first. So today we'll now name them as they should be named. Inbound, in stands for, the benefit solution, and then outbound is sort of, I'll show you what I have. This is the price. If you want it, take it. If you don't want it, that's also okay. You can just pass. So again, with video, apologies for that. That's basically going to educate us on the difference between the two, just so that when we start off on the categories, you can be able to visualize on which one would work best for the brand you're marketing or not. As much as possible, as we go through this training, I would love for you to imagine a brand, either the company you work for or your business, or a client you have, or any hypothetical business that you could have. I want you to have that at the back of your mind even as we go through today's training. So I'll share my screen once again, and then we can watch that video. Great. So quickly, in just one word each, inbound or outbound, what would work for you? Dennis?
Inbound.
Great. Lillian?
Inbound will work for me. I feel like outbound is really, it's time consuming.
And robotic. Thank you for that. Gloria?
Inbound.
Great. Felicitas, and then Wilsack.
I believe inbound will work for me.
All right. Wilsack, finally.
Inbound.
Great. So right now, you find many consumers prefer inbound. It's what works. Unless you're talking about big sales, Black Friday, Easter sales, etc. But I think right now, with the kind of consumer we have, who is educated, who will do research, who will compare prices, then a lot of inbound is what is working for brands. Sometimes you find some companies do a mixture of both. I remember Jumia did it during COVID, where they introduced this box they were calling Chakula box. It had different affordable things inside it. I think it was 1,500. And instead of just putting it out there, they had to provide extra value to show people, we're trying to get you to buy a lot of stuff on a budget so that your house is well stocked. So they brought this angle of inbound as well. So again, as we go through the categories, think about those two. What would work well? Is it inbound? Is it outbound? Depending on who you are targeting. So we'll start off. One of the categories we looked at when we started off the training was social media marketing. Just like I mentioned, it's a form of marketing on a social media platform or site. And ideally, the main goal of social media marketing is to produce content that people will interact with in one way or another, whether it's in the form of likes, comments, shares, saves, tagging someone. And of course, all that then, what does it do to a company? It increases your awareness to your customers, which will eventually get them curious to learn more about you. Nobody has talked about sales. But what do businesses do now? They quickly come to social media and they're all about sales, forgetting what social media was all about in the first place. So social media really is for awareness and interest purposes. Right now, interesting things have been introduced, so you can actually generate leads from it that you could convert to become sales. Think of a lead like Melanie who inquires. You have Melanie's contact or Melanie's email that you can follow up with to eventually convert her. This same social media, why exactly do you need to remain social? Because people don't like the whole aspect of selling too much. People are more into stories. People are more into feeling like everything is personal to them. Consumers are more of looking to socialize, but of course also looking for solutions. So remember, we talked about practicality of marketing a few minutes ago. That's what consumers are looking for on social media. People are very visual on social media. So what is it that is going to make you stand out? I gave you my example of chicken donuts yesterday. Just the idea of the text and how the donut looked like meat made me stop. Why are all this important? Because in the end, you have to be different as a brand to stand online. Everyone is marketing online. In fact, right now I tell myself, if all companies put in the budget and the effort they were to put when it comes to digital marketing, I'm not sure who would be listened to online. So you really, really need to think about that. And in the spirit of being social, different brands could market in different ways. I'll show you two examples. I'll share my screen. I have two visuals. And I think I'll give you guys just a few minutes to look at both of these images that we have. And then let's have a discussion around it. Which one are you likely to stop if you bumped into it when you were scrolling on social media? And maybe why? For the one you'll stop, the one you won't stop, maybe why not? So I'll give us some 2 minutes to look at that image. Let me just share my screen. There are two images. And then, yeah, when we're ready, we'll do a round of comments. So let me just share my screen. There we go. So take a minute or two, have a look at the two visuals, and then we can hear some reactions from everyone. Which one is likely to make you stop if you are scrolling on social media and why? And then for the one that won't make you stop, maybe why not? And when we're ready, I think I'll just do the round according to the list we had. I'll do Dennis, then we'll do Lillian. I think we had Gloria, Felicitas, Wilsack. So Dennis, whenever you're ready, let us know.
Okay. I think the Umoja advert would be more captivating, or rather catching to me, for so many reasons. One, it's more something relatable. Then secondly, the mix of colors. The mind is attracted to the brightness and the kind of mix that colors bring out. So I think the Umoja advert will be more, I'll even remember it more compared to the Loop one. Actually, wonder why Loop always has to do this boring adverts. I don't know. Maybe it's their thing. I've seen a lot of boring adverts from Loop, but the Umoja one, I think I'll remember it.
Great. Thanks for mentioning that. And Loop is now orange. We'll talk about that orange on the side. Yeah, but thank you for sharing. Lillian, what about you?
I feel like when I'm scrolling through social media, I'll not have the time to read all this from Loop, all this kind of information. The Umoja one strikes it first, the image itself and also the brightness, some of the things that also Dennis has mentioned. But for the Loop, I'm just scrolling. I'll not even have the time to read all that.
Yeah.
So I think the Umoja one is more appealing for me.
Okay. I like that you also mentioned you won't have the time to read that, so we are competing for time. Thank you. Gloria, then Felicitas, then Wilsack.
I'd say the Umoja one has, the advert is very appealing to the eye. It's the first thing you see actually, compared to the Loop one, because the Loop one, you try to think, what do they mean? The paperwork, you have to think so much about it, and like the Umoja, and then you can also relate to the Umoja one.
Great. Thank you for that. You take so much time to read and understand. I think that's the worst thing you can do in marketing. Get people overthinking. Okay, in some scenarios it could work, depending on what you're sort of looking at. We'll talk about Clean It in a few for those of you who've seen the adverts, and see, how much overthinking is bad, or, what do we think of that entire campaign. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But yes, thank you, Gloria. Maybe we can hear from Felicitas, then Wilsack.
Okay, for me, I think the Umoja one will do for me because, first of all, the color blending, it's attractive, unlike the Loop. The Loop one is kind of vague. Then the Loop one has what's in layman's language they call kizungu mingi. And I don't think clients will have that time to read much content. And also the Umoja one is relatable. So I think it would work for me.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. I love that relatable has come up. Let's talk about Clean It for a few minutes. I think I'll just share my screen again for those of us who've not seen the Clean It billboards. I know it wasn't digital, but just in the spirit of trying to be social, I'd love to hear our reactions and thoughts to the campaign. Let's see if we can bump into one of the billboards. I don't know if they still have them up. If not, I can always go to a different platform to just search for it, so that then we can see what the campaign was about. But anyone who's seen the campaign generally, what do you think of it as I look for that? Okay, so I'll just show the campaign right now. I hope you guys can still see my screen. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'll scroll through a few of the posts that they have for you to see. I don't know if I can hide that side, yeah, so that we focus on the image alone. It's loading. There we go. So yeah, I'll scroll through some of the images that are here, and then maybe we can have reactions at the end. So as you can see, clearly it is this wiping thing for the kitchen, the kakitamba that absorbs water. So they put out some interesting billboards, I think this month. This was one of them. So I hope you've had a look at that before I go to the next one. So this one basically says, what sucks more than catching bay with beshte? Then if I keep going, they had this other one that talks about what sucks more than another price hike. Then as I keep going down, I think there was one more. I don't know if it made it to social media, but maybe we can look at those two. So far, reactions, and I'll just open one. What do you think of this kind of marketing, especially when we're looking at it from a social aspect, trying to be social? What do you think? Maybe we can do the same round we had, Dennis, Lillian, Gloria, then we can hear from Wilsack if Felicitas is not back.
Okay, first of all, I'll think the audience they're trying to attract is technically my age mates, because this is something that would maybe captivate my thinking process.
Mhm.
Then secondly, I think the hottest topic right now in is about cheating and how cheating has influenced relationships and everything. So I think they're trying to become relevant into that context and at least appeal to people, at least create a product that would save you the cheating bit. I mean, then well, it can't clean a relationship, but at least it can help you clean the utensils. So I think that is the thinking behind it.
Nice. Dennis, you sound like you were in this brainstorm. You've made me look at it in a different way. Thank you for that.
Um,
Thanks for those thoughts. Lillian, any reactions? What do you think? You know, are they making consumers overthink? We've talked about overthinking a few minutes ago.
Definitely, I think that they are trying to play along with your mind, because just by that line, what sucks more than catching your boy with fish, definitely you'll have a thought in your mind. So they're definitely captivating an audience to think through that setting. And also they are targeting, of course, the young people. They are trying to target people my age, within the same the age group. So I feel like this type of marketing is really relatable. So I think that definitely that is what they thought about when thinking about the type of marketing that they did with this.
All right. Thank you for that. Maybe we can hear from Gloria. Do you think it's making us forget about the product, you know, or what are your general reactions to the campaign?
I think, okay, first of all, I don't know whether it captures, I guess, I get what everyone is saying, it captures the target audience and all, but I feel, I'm not sure whether it's the person receiving the message actually knows finally what Clean is all about. So I don't know whether it is distracting. I don't know. I still don't feel like it captures the message. Like at the end of the day, do people really know what Clean does?
And I like that question because then, you know, is it moving more to the direction of clickbait? Maybe Wilsack, we can hear from you. I know it's not online, but we're doing a similar campaign online. Are they just looking for clicks, you know, by intriguing us? Do we forget about the product in the end, considering, I'll show you guys in a minute how they were marketing before. Maybe Wilsak, we can get your reactions.
Okay, I think I have a completely different opinion about this billboard campaign. I don't. Okay, I think from what the campaign is all about and what they have based their campaign on, I think they are okay. They may be targeting a specific maybe audience because of the age. I think with the age and the youth would relate much about it. But I also think that the campaign is kind of insensitive in a way, more so gender, because from what you can see from the board, I think the female or the female is it looks like it's victimized in a way. I don't know, but that's what I think.
Wow, another new angle. These people should hire.
Consumer is I think would overthink a lot.
Yeah. And I like that you brought that out. Dennis, I'm coming to you in a bit. I like that you brought the insensitive part. I hadn't seen it like that because, I mean, women cheat too, if that's then the conversation we're pushing. Someone has mentioned quite a bit about target audience. Is the target audience on the roads where those billboards are? Are they online? Are they, those are the questions I'm asking myself. Again, they're using cartoon-like images. Does the target audience become a little bit confused? Because what happens when a kid sees that billboard? Did they ask themselves questions like that? Maybe you can come back to Dennis before I go to Lillian's comment in the chat.
Okay. I think Gloria and Wilsak have come up with very, very solid points. But also, coming to think of it, who really does the utensils? Really, okay, who is going to be intrigued about doing utensils, right? Then remember, we're in a world where one gender feels it's cleaner than the other. So I think that is the kind of loop they're trying to create and insinuate, or rather appeal to. So if I'm going to sell a product to you, I have to make you feel more appreciated than someone else. So in this context, you might not clearly get the message, but what you is technically you'll have to look for that product. I mean, you might not really know what the product is all about, but you'll have to look at that product. Maybe go online and look at what is clean it. I mean, it has to be something. I think there was I love football. There was an academy that did several billboards. It's based somewhere. It did several billboards, but the billboards were based in Upper Hill, Westlands, all these high-end areas. Then before I knew it was an academy, because whatever they were advertising was something way different from what I thought about sports. But in the long run, before I realized it was an academy, it took me more than 3 hours. I had to Google it. I had to find out more information about it. I had to start digging deep into it. Then I realized, Kumeni, just a football academy. So probably triggers you to get more information about it. They might not be able to put all the information on that billboard, but they want you to also get in touch with the product. Most of the time, for me to give a review, I have to have known how that product is, or rather, where I can get that product, or rather, how that product looks like. If I give out mental reviews, internal reviews, those are internal monologues, then there are those external reviews. So I think most of these products look for the external kind of reviews so that you're able to comment on such issues. The way we are able to comment on I think the billboard, I think they would appreciate if that was a conversation. They want that conversation being built.
Nice, I love that. Interesting thinking. Again, Dennis, hebu tell us the truth. Ulikuwa kwa hiyo brainstorm? Were you part of the team? Thank you. But I love that you're making us think like that. Wilsat, I can see your hand is up.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to add something about this campaign. Actually, it caught my attention because I said I consume much of social media. And I saw that billboard on Twitter, and the conversation was running through, and I thought about it, and I never thought I'll encounter it anywhere in class. And when I went through the comments, I think majority of the consumers and the people who saw that billboard never knew what they were advertising. And I thought, when I sat down and thought about it, and nikaona like the guys, I think they used so much energy, and they just put their consumers on, I think the audience in a task, like in an exam, and majority of us even never knew what the product was. So I think most of us were putting tests, and they just wanted to have that to eye catch and trend, because on Twitter, I think it will trend for some time. So they just wanted, I think, to push and get engagements.
Nice. I really like that. And I like that even as we keep discussing, more things keep coming up. So definitely true. Anyone else with a reaction? All right, I can see in the chat, Lillian says it may shift your attention. They are going for a trend rather than focusing on the campaign. Totally agree. So, I mean, we could all have different opinions on it, but that's the social aspect, you know, when it comes to marketing. It's just that this is not on a social media platform, but I know they did something similar on social media. Closely related to that, can I say social media conversation is influencer marketing. I think we had quite a bit of a discussion last time around social influencers. And one of the questions I was asking you guys is, you know, have you actually been influenced? And how was that sort of for you? So I want you to think of an influencer just like an individual who has power to affect your purchasing decision, you know, in one way or another. Either because of who they are in the society, maybe because of you know, what they know about the product. I think Lillian earlier mentioned CeraVe. I think the influencers do a pretty interesting job. But in the end, it's all about measuring whether it's working for you or not. It's not just about, what can I say? It's not just about, you know, this is the influencer we're working with because of this and this and this, but more of what can it actually do for your brand and how can you actually measure that it's working. So good things to think about when you're talking about influencer marketing. We talked about there being different, can I call them types of influencers? And I think I had promised to share a little bit around that today. So I'll share my screen in a bit just to show you the different ranges of influencers, of course, majorly based on, what can I call it? The kind of followers that they have, or rather the amount of followers that they have. So you realize that there's quite a bit of conversation around that. So I think I'll just share my screen and let you guys see those different categories. We'll talk about it just now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there are different kinds of influencers. I'll start off from the bottom, the smallest influencers who many brands are working with right now. Nano influencers, they have between 500 to 2,000 social media followers. I know for most of us, when we think of influencers, you imagine one, they're famous, they have to have a lot of followers. That's not necessarily the case. So you could work with different influencers for different reasons. Most of the nano influencers have more trust with their followers. I think someone mentioned trust when we started today's class. You know, their followers are those people who will believe and buy a product because Melanie said so, as compared to the ones that have, you know, bigger following. One, majority of their followers are strangers, so they don't necessarily know them intimately. They know them from online. So you'll find many brands are moving away from this and finding more benefit in working with the much smaller ones. Not to say that the ones who fall between micro going upwards up until mega are bad influencers. No, they are not. But if you're looking to do more intimate, more conversion-based campaigns, then we're seeing a shift in how brands are thinking. So again, there's no category I would really recommend for specific businesses. It all depends on what you're looking for. Does the influencer actually have your target audience amongst their following, which you can get from reports? I think one of the things that I shared last time on my screen was an influencer's rate card. I forgot to upload it on LMS, but I will do that when uploading these notes as well. So you'll realize that this conversation of influencer marketing can actually really, really grow completely. I think someone has unmuted. Would you like to say something? Sorry. Oh, Felicitas is back. Felicitas, you can mute yourself if you don't mind. But yes, these are the different, can I say, tiers when it comes to influencer marketing based on following. Any question, any clarification based on this before we proceed? All right. So as we keep going with this conversation, you'll realize that you learn quite a bit. This week we'll do a lot of theory, a lot of discussion, just going deeper into the categories, and maybe start a bit on the practical side of things. So how can we come up with our own possible campaign? What does that look like? We'll talk a bit about that at some point. So I want you to see influencer marketing more than just posting. You know, it's more than that. So I think I'll share my screen again. Let's watch a video. This video basically talks about what exactly influencer marketing is, or what it was intended to be. I think we'll watch that video, then we can do a round of reactions from everyone in terms of what do you think? You know, is that what influencer marketing is at the moment, especially in our country, Kenya? I think that would be an interesting conversation to have.
What is up, guys? Alec here, and today I'm going to be talking about what influencer marketing actually is and how you can use it in 2019. Now, with influencer marketing, you have to understand that you don't directly advertise to your specific audience. You pinpoint key leaders in your niche and drive your message through them. The reason this works is because these key leaders have earned the trust of your target audience. Influencer marketing is becoming bigger and bigger thanks to social media and all its influencers with large followings. When influencer marketing is done well, most of the audience and buyers don't even realize that they're being advertised to. Not that they care anyway, because it didn't ruin their Instagram scrolling experience. Now, what do I mean by this? When you scroll through Instagram, you only want to see content from people that you follow. When you see an ad, it's often irrelevant content that you skip past. However, that fashion blogger that you follow who posts all of her daily outfits actually advertised the dress to you through an influencer marketing campaign without you even knowing it. If anything, that influencer's audience is happier because they got more content from their favorite fashion blogger. Now that's how powerful influencer marketing can be. At the moment, for every $1 spent on influencer marketing campaigns, companies are earning $7.65 on average. Some companies even earning more than $20 for every dollar they spend. However, this isn't going to last long due to the fact that influencer marketing is growing in popularity with brands and companies. So they're going to be making more marketing campaigns than there are influencers available. So the prices will go up and the revenue margins will decrease. For an influencer campaign to work, you need to let the influencer be themselves and advertise the product as they see best. This helps the message come across as authentic to their audience. So how do you leverage influencer marketing to grow your business? First of all, the best platforms for influencer marketing, in my opinion, are in the following order: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also use Snapchat, but I don't think it's doing as well. The key factor to how well your influencer marketing campaign will do is how relevant the audience actually is. It's not about the size of the audience, but how relevant the fans are and how much they care about the creator's content. Now, a successful influencer marketing campaign takes time. After the first few posts, you should see results in revenue increase and brand awareness. However, it's after a good few months that your campaign really starts to show the big results. When it comes to a few influencers, mostly micro-influencers, they'll often be willing to do it for free in exchange for your product or service. However, it's not always the case. When paying them, always try and negotiate, but don't be too cheeky with your prices. You want to build a long-lasting relationship with them that will benefit you in the future. Offering too little might offend them. Try and get in contact with the influencer directly. Avoid going through an agency because they'll often mark up the price so they can make more profit. To do so, I highly suggest just sending them a private message on Instagram or Facebook. If not, reaching out to one of their emails they have on their Instagram business profile or on another platform. So hopefully now you understand what influencer marketing is. If you do have any more questions about it, let me know in the comments section below. I really appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if this video actually helped you. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.
Great. So reactions. Is that how influencer marketing is working in Kenya? What do you think of influencer marketing in Kenya? I think I'll start with Wilsack, then Gloria, Lillian, then Dennis. Wilsack? Okay, Gloria, maybe we can start with you. Okay, can you guys hear me? Lillian? Okay, Gloria can there.
Okay, I think for some influencers, there's a part where you're based on the video you've seen, they should be themselves. I feel like for some they want to like push the product to the customers so much that they forget to just make it part of their day-to-day lives. So that's something I've noticed with some influencing marketing in Kenya.
All right. Any other reactions? Maybe can hear from Lillian, Dennis, and I can give my overall comment on that.
I feel like influencers are just in Kenya right now. They are going for trends. They want just to push a brand. Most of them are not really focusing on the product. Really, they're trying to push the brand and market those products. So I feel like we have to really get into a point where you can see that they are doing this for them, not that they're okay. I get that they should try to push the brand, but they should be authentic and try to fit that product into the kind of activities that they do on a daily basis, rather than it seeming like it's just a business to put profit for them.
Put profits for them. Interesting. Dennis?
Okay. Locally, I don't think there's any influencer, or rather, any person who has influenced me to purchase a product. Basically, because they don't show me the value of the product in my life, or rather, how it's going to propel me into something different. For instance, I'm a sports person, right? And play sports in so many ways. Kipchoge is already influencing 3 products, but none of these exactly is I've always wanted to have a double cab pickup, but Nissan is not in the on my to-do list. When I was playing a phone, Phantom 3 was not on my to-do list.
Dennis, you're breaking a bit.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, better.
I'm saying the 3 products that has influenced, none of them seem to even capture my attention in any way. Yet I'm a lover of sports. So technically it shows that we have not understood the value of influencing, or we have never understood what influencing is all about. I think there's a lot of coaching going on whereby people are not to give their review, but rather they give the documented reviews. They give the review online, Google about the product, anywhere. I think influencing should be all about, let me tell you why I feel this product is the other. But let me tell you how I feel why I love this show
Sorry,
basis.
Dennis, your audio has started again. I don't know if it's just me. Lillian, can you hear Dennis well? I'm hearing like some hitting.
No, he's not really quite clear.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know what's happening.
Ole, Dennis, do you want to maybe drop off and rejoin?
Okay.
Sorry for that. We'll wait. It's okay. But I like where the conversation is going just as we wait for Dennis, because are we really doing influencer marketing in Kenya, in Africa? You know, that's a good question to have, because you guys as future brand custodians, you know, how is it going to reflect on you depending on the kind of influencers that you choose for brands to use? Because that will be your decision. A client may tell you, you know, work with influencer A, but you decide to work with influencer B. What does that actually mean for you? Dennis, I can see your back.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
you can,
uh,
yeah, but
you can
Mhm.
elaborate.
Yes.
So I think we have not understood the art of influencing, whereby influencing needs to be, you need to tell me why using a certain product is better than another product. I think I told you I was influenced to buy the phone that I'm currently using because somebody compared it to phones within the same price range and offered me insight on why this particular phone would be a better choice for me compared to the other phones in that group. So I
Mhm.
think we're not yet at the influencing bit. We just give anyone who is a celebrity or rather who is doing something to, to offer their coached insight on the product.
Okay, I totally agree. Definitely influencing, even as a word, seems not to have been understood very well in our market. Something we really, really need to work on. Loving the reactions, loving the discussion so far. Very important, because again, you guys are going to be the brand custodians. So what kind of conversation is going to be happening at that point when it comes to selecting influencers? Very, very important to have. So great. That's on influencers. I think next we can talk a bit about advertising, and I think I'll start with reactions before I dive into it. In the video for influencer marketing, one of the things that the guy who was taking us through the video mentioned was some influencers don't spoil the experience people have when they're scrolling on a platform like Instagram. So how do you feel about sponsored ads, whether it's from an influencer saying, you know, in partnership with ... or whether it's an ad saying, you know, sponsored or advert? How do we feel about that? Do you scroll past them? Do you ever click? Do you ever buy? I'm curious to know a bit about that. Maybe you can hear from Gloria first, then Lillian. Then I can continue from there. We'll hear from the rest. Gloria, Lillian, how do you feel about sponsored ads or influencers saying in partnership with? Maybe let's start with Gloria.
I think it's I think it's a good thing, because then you won't get distracted. You know that whatever products they are advertising, or whatever brand they are working with, it's just for an advert. It may be based on a partnership, and not necessarily how they, especially maybe like for skincare products. Uh, for example, it's just, you'll understand that maybe they'll say yes, they've used it, but possibly they have not used it. So you know it's just a sponsored ad. You'll make a decision based on that than when it's not said it's a sponsored ad.
Thank you for that, Gloria. Lillian, maybe we can hear from you. Any reaction?
I feel like, for example, when a particular influencer, let's say they're wearing a particular brand of clothes like Zia is, they're doing a video of Get Ready With Me, then they say that this piece was from Zia. So basically that will just be like advertising that set of clothes, and from there the target audience will be able to, if somebody within that, well, somebody, for those who are watching, there are some people who might be interested in that. So it's just basically a form of advertising a product.
I like it. Any different reactions from Wilsack, Felicitas, Dennis, or do you agree with the ladies?
From where I stand, I feel if something is sponsored, you're not really giving me your first-hand experience in with the product. You're giving me a coached experience, or rather, you're giving me a botched experience. So I'd rather you give me your unique experience with a product for me to use it. I think if you follow, for those people who have tried to follow Unbox Therapy, it's usually on YouTube. If you look at how they analyze their products, they have tried to use almost all the products. Then they tell you why a certain product is better than another product. And most of the time they don't work with dedicated products, because they get all the products on the market within a particular price range, test them, use them for different needs, then advise you, or rather tell you that this product is better than this one on this aspect, and this one is better than the other one on this aspect, and according to the rankings, this is how we'll rank this particular product. So I feel if I want to buy a product, I would go for any product that somebody gives me their first-hand experience, or rather how they felt using a particular product. If I'm going to buy a car, how you felt buying, let's say, a Hyundai Santa Fe, and your experience with that vehicle will make me buy it, rather than somebody telling me an influencer telling me how they were coached on using it. So I think that is my own space. That is how I feel influencing should be like.
Thank you for sharing that. I totally agree with you. Any reaction from Wilsack?
Okay. On my view on influencer marketing, more so in Africa and Kenya in particular, I think influencer marketing is basically based on numbers on social media. And you see, like, even right now in the mainstream media, they are hiring people with the influence, because I guess those people, they don't consume the product first. The fact that they have numbers, then the brands will always run for them, because they think they will help in promoting the product. But I think they don't give us insights and reviews about the product. You might buy or you might consume a product because you found your favorite, maybe actor or celebrity is promoting it, and then at the end of the day you get disappointed. I'm a victim of that, and since then, sponsored ads and influencer things I don't consume. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, some of these people are doing it honestly just because they are being paid. I think for me, that's my greatest, can I say, fear. They'll probably tell you to buy product X, not because they've used it, but simply because they're getting paid. I've worked with an influencer who, and I won't disclose names, we did a campaign with them. During the campaign, they discovered they were allergic to the product. Instead of them stopping to work with us, they kept working with us. So they take pictures, they take videos, and do some editing. And it was so sad, and eventually I remember when we told the client was actually on board for them to continue lying, because then the campaign had already started, which I think is very wrong. So influencer marketing is quite sensitive. I think sponsored ads as well are quite sensitive because then you're not really sure, do I take this product? Do I not? Especially right now, I know very many people who scroll past sponsored ads. As soon as they see the word sponsored, especially on Instagram stories, they quickly scroll through it. They feel like it's sort of destroying how they interact with their content, something that is actually happening. We know many people who've installed things like ad blockers on their computers so that they don't see ads. I mean, things are really, really changing. What can we actually do about all those things to ensure that people still get invested in what we have to offer as a company? I think the solution right now is to tell stories. I think people move from doing product and service sponsored ads to now just doing ads to bring traffic to your page, so that people will now only react to ads based on pages they're interested in following and not necessarily in a product or service, because then I'm not sure where the conversation is going with that. Something very interesting. People are craving more for an intimate relationship with a brand. You're finding more people caring less about following Melanie's company online, but they would not mind following Melanie online herself. So do they want to listen more to the brand? Do they want to listen more to the human? And that's why you're finding things like email marketing, for example. It's no longer about just sending an email out to inform people about ABC, but it's more of building a relationship with people. You want people to look forward to receiving your email. I have quite a huge email list of about, I think, 1,700 people. And it's so interesting, when I don't send an email out, I have people who actually reach out to ask me, you didn't send today's email. And most of the things I share are just resources or experiences from events that I've gone through. I mean, nothing too much, but clearly it's helped to build a relationship with my target audience, something you need to think about. So even as you think of these categories, it's not just about, let me post and that's it, I'm done. We need to grow past that. We need to think of it like a relationship you're slowly building with people, because that's exactly what it is. And in the kind of world we're living in right now, you notice that majority of the platforms, as you think about them, even when it comes to content, are prioritizing different things. So like Instagram is prioritizing visuals right now, a lot of it being video. A platform like LinkedIn, text, based posts, most of the time in long form. So ask yourself, depending on the type of marketing you use. Today we've talked about social media, we've talked about influencer marketing, a bit about digital advertising, and a bit about email marketing. Which of those actually, would work best for whichever brand you have in mind, and why, now that you know a little bit more around it. So far, any questions before we continue? Amazing. So something else I'd love us to just go deeper into is video marketing. I think you remember it's one of the categories I put out, and I specifically mentioned it as separate because then we're seeing quite a lot of growth in event platforms introducing video as a form of marketing. I don't know how many of us on this call are active on Spotify, but yesterday I just discovered that Spotify is now doing videos. I was quite surprised. And that just shows you the impact that video has, both in short and long form. I don't think YouTube were foolish to introduce YouTube Shorts. There was a reason and thinking behind it. So clearly, video marketing is growing. We're seeing quite a lot of platforms incorporating that, and it's not by mistake. I know, according to different researches, I know there's a research that a company called HubSpot did, and they found around 78% of people watch videos every week, while 54% watch videos every day. I mean, think of myself. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is watch TikTok. Before I go to bed, I watch TikTok. Anytime I have, idle time, the quickest place to go to is TikTok. And I think the beauty about my TikTok is most of my videos have captions. So even if I'm not somewhere where I can necessarily listen to audio, I can as well read the captions. I know Google as well did a research some time back, and they found that 6 out of 10 people would rather watch videos online, rather than watching TV, say news or a TV show. YouTube as well did a research of its users and discovered that, you know, their users watch in a day more than 1 billion hours of videos. So that shows you how much video is really growing. And those are just a few statistics I can mention. And of course, with all of that growth, then we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, every video that we put out, what's the goal? Am I trying to raise awareness with this video? Am I trying to get people interested to consider my product or service? Or am I trying to get people to convert? If it's awareness, you know, am I introducing the brand? Am I introducing the product itself or the service? And how am I trying to tie that to now move to consideration, where it's more about deepening the relationship, making Dennis feel like, as he watches that video, almost like the video was specifically made for him to eventually get to the stage of conversion. So I follow a company called Biteable. Biteable do content in small bites to enable people to just understand them better. And they've done this really great video on video marketing. It's a little bit lengthy, but I mean, we'll watch it just to get an idea of how else can you think about video when it comes to marketing. And then after that, we'll do a little group activity to just finalize today's session. So let's watch the video and then we'll come back.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our guide on video marketing. In this tutorial, you'll learn everything you need to know to jump headfirst into video marketing. We'll teach you everything from goal setting, defining your audience, content planning, tools, types of video, creating videos, distribution, and measuring success. Video marketing is a type of content marketing that uses video as the main form of creative collateral. Why do it? Because it works. Video ads perform better than static image ads in every way. In a recent experiment we ran, we found video ads get more reach, more clicks, and cost far less per lead. In the last 10 years, two important video trends have emerged. The first, demand for video has increased, and the second, the cost of video production has decreased. Thanks to video makers like Biteable, the world's simplest video maker, it's easier than ever to make marketing videos. The first to do for any marketer is to set goals and targets within the marketing funnel. Video is useful at every stage of the marketing funnel, from awareness at the very top, consideration in the middle, and conversion at the bottom. Let's look at these stages in more detail. Think of the awareness stage as a getting to know you exercise, a first date almost. Video content is short, sharp, and introductory. Aim for 30 seconds or less and explain your value proposition. What is the value of your business to the viewer? Metrics like number of views and length of views are a good marker of success. Then there's consideration. This is when your audience probably knows a bit about you, but the marketplace is crowded with options and you want to stand out. Offering consistent expert knowledge and advice while steering away from one-off discounts or gimmicks can build trust in this stage. Measure success by click-through rate. And then there's conversion, which is a bit simpler. These videos are about selling your product or service directly. Conversion content has to offer urgency or opportunity, like a saving. Conversion metrics to focus on are straight up sales. Cha-ching. Who you're speaking to is as important as what you're saying. So before you even open Biteable to make a video, you have to define your audience. We recommend doing this with personas. A persona should include details about who they are and how they interact with marketing platforms. And remember, you might need more than one persona. Most audiences are divided into segments that represent different business goals. Often, the hardest part of planning video content is coming up with ideas. If you look far enough ahead, you can avoid the stress of last-minute production. Marketing calendars are great for this. Biteable's calendar even gives you video ideas, prompts, and templates for every day of the year, as well as obscure facts. Like, did you know May 14th is National Dance Like a Chicken Day? Well, now you do. What tools do you need in your belt to nail video marketing? Only 3, but they're absolutely essential. a video maker, a scheduler, and a dashboard. The video maker, we can help you out there. Unless you're in charge of editing Tarantino's next project, you're best to save time and money with a simple video maker. Use the Biteable Video Maker if you want something that is easy, intuitive, and comes full of pre-programmed templates. It's also social friendly and has a library full of clips, music, and animations. You'll also need a scheduler to make sure your content is published when you need it to be. There are a fair few to choose from, and our advice is to pick one that's focused on your preferred social media channel. And finally, you'll need a dashboard to track analytics. Again, there are lots on the market, so choose one that integrates seamlessly with your channel of choice. In order to convince the higher-ups to use video, you'll need to develop a watertight business use case. Remember to provide goals and targets that align with the broader goals of your company. Clearly outline the budget and scope of the project to manage expectations, and dangle a carrot. Show examples of successful video campaigns by people in similar industries. There are many types of video, but let's break it down into the most common ones you're likely to use. Ads are relatively straightforward production pieces in video marketing. They're unambiguously promoting something and they get to the point quickly. Explainer videos are a great way to show your authority in your field. They give knowledge about a product, service, process, or thing, and they generally help answer a question. Testimonials are a powerful form of social proof. They prove that you are trustworthy. Genuine comments from customers with a name and face are best. These videos are more newsy and answer questions with who, what, when, where, and why. Read more at Biteable about the different types of marketing videos you can make. A great way to understand what your audience wants to see in videos is to do keyword research. If you have Google Console linked to your online platforms, and you should, you'll be able to see what keyword combinations people are using to find content in your niche. Pick the ones with volume and make videos to match. The first step in making a video is storyboarding. If you have a big budget, you can hire someone who specializes in storyboarding. If not, you can sketch it out by yourself. It's helpful to see how the beats of the story unfold, even if your sketching is just some written notes. If you're using Biteable, you can even use the video maker itself to create a rough storyboard. Drop scenes, images, or text into a new project and change it around until it works. After your storyboard is in place, it's time to script. Remember to speak directly to your audience and keep it brief. Read your script out loud as you go because the way we speak is totally different to the way we write. If your video idea is really specific, like you want to show a dozen clowns dancing on the rim of an active volcano, you'll need to find a camera, hire some clowns, and put them to work in front of a green screen. And you'll need to learn Premiere Pro or Final Cut. Boring. Save yourself the trouble and use Biteable. Biteable comes with a huge stock library of 1.8 million clips, animations, and images, so you can create an endless variety of videos. Now on to hosting. We recommend using YouTube as your host platform because it's free and comes with built-in mechanisms that help big time with SEO and discovery. Alternatively, you can host your video on your own server or look for a paid third-party video hosting service like Wistia or Sproutware. Once you're hosted, there are lots of places you'll want to show off your video, but the first stop should be your website. A video on the home or landing page can increase conversions by up to 80%. When it comes to advertising, the first question is to pay or not to pay. If you have the budget, focus on Facebook and YouTube for paid marketing as they both offer precise targeting and good ROI. If you've built an audience and are willing to put in the work, organic posting can work just fine, especially on platforms like YouTube or even Instagram. Earnest tactics like going live, engaging in conversations or groups, and using influencers are all viable ways to distribute your video content without paying a cent for advertising. The first thing you need to measure success is analytics. If you have a dashboard with built-in analytics, then you're already nailing it. Otherwise, pull reports from the native social platforms themselves or Google Analytics. Data usually gives us some insights, but not the full picture. To truly know your audience, you need to A/B test. A/B testing on Facebook and Instagram is relatively simple. A/B testing works best on elements like thumbnails, CTA, and ad text. But remember to only test one element at a time so you can isolate what's working. Unfortunately, it's not possible to A/B test natively on YouTube yet, but you can use third-party helpers like TubeBuddy to do it anyway. To find detailed guides on everything we've spoken about today, check out our full guide to video marketing. And if you're inspired to create your own video right now, get started with Biteable for free. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye for now.
Great. So I know the video was a bit long, but don't worry about it. We'll keep learning as we keep going. As you can see, we need to start thinking about video marketing deeper. I know as we were watching this video, probably our minds have opened up, towards just thinking about video marketing in a different way, because maybe we're not that about it that way. But I'm glad that's what this session is for. So I'd like us to just go into a bit of a session of, can I say, a group discussion just here in the call. And ideally, what I'd love for us to do is, based on the categories we've gone through so far, I want us to, one, pick a hypothetical brand, and possibly ask ourselves, what are some of the ways we would market on the different platforms, or rather the different categories we've talked about, if we were that specific brand. So I'll just repeat the question, but maybe before I do that, Lillian, I think you're the one who led us last time, right?
Yes, I did.
All right, so today we have Aman. Dennis, I don't know if you're open to leading us for today's discussion.
Okay, I'll hold in mind.
All right, great. So the question is basically, I want you guys to think of brand X. Brand X in this case being whatever company you guys will choose. I want you guys to choose a company. And using that company, I want you to ask yourself, if they were to use the categories we've talked about today, that's social media marketing, influencer marketing, the digital advertising, or what we call sponsored advertising, email marketing, and video marketing, I'll just list them in the chat. How would they use the different categories? So if it's social media marketing, what kind of content are you seeing would work for them? Or what kind of things can they talk about? How can they represent it? Is it videos? Is it images? etc. If it's email marketing, what can they talk about in their emails? If it's video marketing, what can their videos be about? I want us to think in that direction when it comes to the ones that I'll post on the list. Dennis, is the question clear, or do you need me to clarify anything now that you're the one leading the group?
I think it's clear.
Okay. So I'll just post the categories in the chat. We had social media marketing, influencer marketing, video. Hope the question is clear for everyone else as well. If you have a question, I think this is your opportunity to ask. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. Yeah. So I posted the categories in the chat. So you guys come up with the company you want to look at, and then what you can do on those different categories. I'll give us around 15 minutes. Then, yeah, let's do the discussion for 15 minutes. Then we'll wind up the class. So yeah, I'll drop off to make you guys a bit comfortable. Then I'll rejoin. We can do a summary once I'm back. All the best.
Okay, so morning everyone. I hope you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Now, I think ideally we would have to at least come up with a pick, at least highlight 3 companies, because I'm quite sure the demands are usually very different based on the modes of advertising, or rather the modes of marketing. Then from there, I think based on the 3 companies that we pick up, we could figure out how each category will fit into, and which one will be a priority category, and which will be a less prioritized category in each company. So I don't know, which 3 companies would you feel that would be relevant in our discussion today? I would want this to be as participatory as possible, because I enjoy having conversations with people. So yeah, so kindly, if you're able to, you're clearly free to just jump in, offer some insight as we move. Anyone?
Okay, I'd like to start off by saying Safaricom.
Okay.
Yes.
So Safaricom, I think we will highlight the companies, then we break down those companies, because I believe everyone has a different opinion on the categories, right? So Lilian is the one who started Safaricom, right?
Yes.
All right.
So I
anyone
think
else?
the others should mention the others so that we can start from there.
Yeah.
Dennis,
Yes, please.
yeah, I think we can also have maybe Samsung or Techno, one of the mobile platforms, mobile phones.
Which one would you rather?
Sorry,
Would you rather have Samsung or
Samsung.
Samsung? Okay.
Okay, I will choose Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
But these are very interesting companies. Okay. Now, I think we'll deal with the 3 companies. Then we're going to come up with a category list on which one would Safaricom use the most, Samsung use the most, and Coca-Cola use the most to reach different, or rather their kind of scope audience. So Safaricom, based on these categories, which one would you think is the most ideal category for them, like in sort of marketing? For me, I think, well, they don't need influencer much, or do they?
They have already established themselves quite well, so I really don't think they need influencer marketing.
Yeah, I also think the same. I think, anyone with a different opinion? So I don't think they would really do influencer marketing. Maybe for just some products, and it also depends on the kind of products they will be relaying, right?
Oh yeah,
So
I've also thought about something. They kind of need the influencer marketing because when they are pushing for something particular like the base, you remember the base, the hook one, they'll need some influencer bit. So that is what I think.
BYOB. Remember that BYOB? Be your own boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually
Okay.
a lot of.
I have a different opinion.
Okay.
Despite the fact that Safaricom might be introducing a new product to the market, the product being from Safaricom itself, I think the company is already influencing the brand, because Kenyans tend to have this trust. They have a notion that we trust some of these brands so much because they have a good reputation in the society. So if you feel about Blaze, the Be Your Own Boss campaign, and maybe you see it on a billboard and you see Safaricom logo there, I think you tend to be enticed to the product. because I feel the influencer needs Safaricom more than Safaricom needs the influencer, I guess.
Yes, Wilsak, I agree with you because, like, for example, I see that if you know a show called Anas Toto by Eddie Butita, they have a campaign whereby for 10 shillings you get to watch that show. So I think that Safaricom in a way is also benefiting that particular show. So I agree with you, Wilsak.
Actually, yeah, Wilson, you've come up with a very, very interesting connotation. Uh, y- and I don't know if most of you have looked at the Chapadimba billboards.
Yes.
Chapadimba is it's a football tournament for the youth, but most of the photos on those billboards, if you're not real like intimately close with football to the level that I am in, you might not know all those players. I love football. I have followed all those players, but interestingly, majority of those players I even don't know them. So interestingly, the fact that it is Safaricom that is involved, you're able to want to be associated with it rather than Safaricom wanting to be associated with you. So yeah, so we could say Safaricom is an influence on its own. It brings in the influence aspect from its own.
I beg to interrupt.
Okay.
Okay, I want to emphasize on that point. Safaricom is an influencer at its own. Like, I think an influencer working in Safaricom, it will give you a bigger mileage rather than you working for it. You working for Safaricom working for you working. I mean, an influencer working for Safaricom, you will gain a lot because I think it's one of the trusted brands in Kenya, and it will change how people would be viewing and other brands. But Safaricom can work for its own, so it's just that way. It's how it is. I think so.
So, what according to the categories, Osaka, according to the 5 categories: the social media marketing, influencer, video, digital, and email. Which one would you think
Email.
Safaricom needs to invest in more?
Okay, or according to me, Safaricom would the most appropriate method they will use is video marketing, because video marketing, they reach a bigger maybe number margin, because social media, they'll use the video marketing in social media and all over, like the ads they use on YouTube. It will be the most appropriate one rather than using an influencer, because I don't think an influencer you will deliver much. Yeah, I think it's the most appropriate one for me.
Lily?
I think also social media marketing will work for them because for certain campaigns, if they're pushing a certain campaign for like how you need to like explain a videos, they'll use the aspect of social media if they're trying to push for a certain campaign for new bundles, new set of promotions. So graphical representations of these things alongside some explainer text will be used in social media.
And what is here? Gloria, right? What else? Yeah. Gloria, is she still here? Okay, so makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Social media. I think I agree with both of you on the concept that video marketing and social media will be key in rather informing Safaricom's products, and very less of influencer marketing. But there's also the aspect of email marketing, which could be done to organizations that consume Safaricom products in bulk, right? Because, for instance, where I work, we buy a lot of Safaricom, the home fiber bundles and all those things. So it wouldn't make sense if they had to call the ops guy and try and convince them on new products. It will only make sense if they send a mail whereby we can have a team review, because within our organization, before a product is utilized within the office, we have to all agree that it's a product that will benefit the organization. So I think they're going to do a lot of they're going to combine video, social media, and digital advertising, because they are correlative. Digital, social media, and video marketing, in my view, are a little bit very relative to each other. Then less of influencer, and okay, a little bit of email, based on the magnitude of, or rather the kind of organization they're communicating to. Then very few of influencer, because I don't think, I've not seen any product that Safaricom really needs an influencer to come in and change, or rather add value to it. Probably just to create an informed conversation, but not really change a lot on it. I can see, well, I think we have done a lot of Safaricom, so, and I can see the lecturer is back, so I think our time was up, right?
You have like 3 more minutes. So yeah, if you're not done, you can utilize the 3 more minutes.
I think, okay, 3 minutes will be quite little to tackle the other 2 companies that we thought about. But I
Okay, so
think,
you had more than one.
yeah, we had picked out 3, but I think the way we have dug into Safaricom,
Mhm.
it will still suffice for now.
Amazing. Don't worry, guys. We have time tomorrow as well, so the discussion can also continue tomorrow. Dennis, could you give me a summary of what you've discussed with the Safaricom? Just highlights.
We first of all selected the 3 companies. Then that was Safaricom, Samsung, and Coca-Cola, because of the different niche of audiences they seek to influence, or rather inform. Then we also came up with a matrix on identifying which is the most ideal sort as kind of a category that each could use, but we focused more on Safaricom on this one. So Safaricom more on video marketing, because video marketing, social media marketing, and digital marketing, because to some context they are more relative, or rather they correlate due to a lot of graphical representation of their promotions and new products within the market. We talked about the influencer marketing, which Safaricom will not depend a lot on it, because they already have the numbers. So, and the kind of reputation Safaricom already has does not give you, the influencer needs Safaricom rather than Safaricom needing the influencer. And then we picked out a product like Blaze and Be Your Own Boss, BYOB. They use a lot of celebrities, or rather the so-called influencers in our space, but those influencers influence the product, because the fact that Safaricom's reputation already supersedes the influencers, it's actually Safaricom that get the adequate space. So we also talked about email marketing. In Safaricom platform will use email marketing organizations. Let's say kind of Strathmore, like NGOs that are going to be purchasing products like home fiber, those internet products. They'll have to be communicated through email marketing rather than try using any other, because they inform a group of people. And when you're informing a particular group of people, mostly in organizations, email is usually the key mode of communication.
Yeah.
So high preference on video, social media, then digital, then email marketing, and then the last one will be influencer marketing.
Amazing. I like those explanations. Definitely really good. And I don't know how you guys are feeling. Are you starting to feel like, digital marketers on a project? I hope you're feeling like that. That's how I want you to feel by the end of this training, because then one of the things I think that you probably saw or have heard from the outline is our final session. After our classes will be around a project. So everything we're learning, and that's why I'm making a lot of them discussion based, so that then when everyone gets to do the presentation individually, it gets to make sense for you. So thank you so much, Dennis, for leading that discussion, and for everyone else for contributing to it. We've done quite a bit today, and I'm glad that it sunk in that well. We'll pick up tomorrow, and we'll start off with the remaining categories that we have. I know we've not gone deeper into SEO, which is search engine optimization. We still have mobile marketing, affiliate, and out of home. And maybe as I also talk about that tomorrow, I know we have some pending tools we had not looked at, which are for those remaining categories plus email marketing. So we'll try to balance it out as well with tools. And have a repeat of today's discussion, just with different categories tomorrow. So I'm really glad. I think today went really well. I'm going to be compiling the notes, and I'll put them up on the e-learning. But in case anyone has a question, feel free to ask. I'm now on the WhatsApp group, so in case you would like to direct any question to me, I'm there, or you can directly DM me. My number is there as well. So I think I'll open the floor. Any final questions from any of you? Or maybe if no questions, any final comments? How do you feel after today's session? I think I'll start with Lillian and then Dennis, then we can wrap it up.
For me, I feel like I've already started thinking out loud. Yes, something like that.
Amazing. I'm glad. Thank you for that. Dennis, for you?
First of all, today's session was more interactive, so I appreciate. I'm a conversationalist, so I enjoy conversation. I think that is a plus for today's class. And also, it was nice leading the group of my colleagues, so I think that was nice. And I think that my insight in digital marketing is becoming more relevant, and every day I begin to realize I was on the right track. What I selected was off. So yeah, thank you.
Karibu sana. I'm glad you're realizing that, and you keep realizing that. Imagine we are just on week 2. So by the time we get to the end, I'm sure many of us will have, changed our thinking and learned quite a bit about digital marketing. I think for me today as well, I've really enjoyed the conversation. Also a conversationalist. Of course, the first classes are, usually introduction, a little bit heavy, not too much discussion. So expect a lot of interaction going forward, both in terms of group and individual. But yes, thank you so much for your time. I think I will end there. It is 10:56. I've given you a bonus 4 minutes to end early. You guys have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.